Hello and welcome to Pickleball Therapy, the podcast dedicated to your pickleball improvement. This week we are going to tackle a couple of different subjects. First, we're going to talk about the second pillar in pickleball improvement. It's a really important concept and hopefully it'll resonate with you. And then in the riff, I'm going to share with you some concepts about ready position. That might be a little different than you're used to thinking about in terms of ready position, or at least maybe supplement it. So let's talk about ready position in the riff. But before that, we're going to talk about the second pillar to pickleball improvement. Let's get into the podcast. You'd like to help your friend or family member learn how to play pickleball, but how? Now it's easy. Pick up a copy of Play Pickleball, a Beginner's Guide. It's the most complete guide to playing pickleball. Available as a digital download or in hard copy at intopickle.com or at Amazon. Let's keep growing the sport. When we think about pickleball or improving as a pickleball player, it really has, we like thinking about it in terms of having two pillars, two major sort of areas. One is knowing how to hit shots. So that's the mechanical part of the game. That's knowing how to hit the strokes. That means that you can hit a third shot. That means you can move to the ball. That includes some physical fitness, stretching, mobility, things like that. Everything that's required physically in order to properly hit the ball the way you want to. But even if you're the best hitter, in other words, you have you can hit third shots at a 97% rate and your volleys are amazing and everything else is awesome. You never miss a shot ever. The second part you need to know about if you want to be the best pickleball player you can be is you need to know what to do. So you need to know what shot to hit when, what opportunities are presenting themselves. In other words, like when is there an opportunity available to you? When is there not an opportunity available to you? When's the green light to attack? When not? So you need to understand need to be able not just to hit the balls the way that you want to. You also need to know what ball to hit in which situation. This last weekend I was playing with some friends in a big group, and it gave me some opportunity to watch some match play live, which I hadn't done in a while. And so I was there kind of studying some of the gameplay. And what I noticed was, and these are players that are, everybody was above 4-0 or higher, some 4-5s, some 5-0s. And what I noticed was even in the 4-5 games, sometimes their shot selections were not optimal. So they would be getting, let's say, like a short ball, then moving up to the ball. There's a big space that they can attack because the other player isn't there. But instead, they would just hammer the player right opposite them. And more often than not, the player would just block the shot back to an open court and end up, flipping the script, right? Because the team that blocked the ball back was in trouble. And instead of they went from being in trouble and maybe losing a point to basically neutralizing the advantage of the opponent. But the neutralization was because the player hitting the ball didn't really know where to hit the ball, didn't really understand the proper shot selection. They hit the ball well. I mean, their shot was fine. They didn't hit the net. They didn't hit it out. But where they hit the ball was not the best place to hit the ball. The other thing about understanding where to hit the ball and things like that is also understanding angles and game dynamics, right? So basically, it's a concept. If you've ever watched any of Hella Spar's videos, she was our guest at the summit. She was one of the presenters at the summit, gave a fantastic presentation on court angle. She just really understands court angles and how to cover them with she calls it like the double door, wrong way wanda. She has all these really cool kind of terms for them. But basically, she talks about those concepts. And so understanding those concepts, understanding angles, understanding court coverage, responsibilities and things like that can really elevate your game because it'll put you in the right spot, right? More often than not. It'll also you'll also recognize when your opponents are not in the right spot. So it's two sides of the coin, right? One is understanding when you're in the right spot or being in the right spot, and then recognizing when your opponents opposite the net are not in the right spot, so that you can attack those openings that open up in their angles. An example of a court dynamic that can help you play better pickleball is the concept of respecting the X. It's a concept that we came up with pretty early on in our YouTube creation career, and so respect the X basically says, don't try not to step in front of a ball that's going across the X from you, so it's going away from you on the X. Try not to step across it unless you have a reason, like you're poaching or you're attacking a short ball, protecting your partner, something like that. But you should have a reason for doing that. But those are things that, if you don't understand respect the X or don't understand that kind of court dynamic, what you'll see players reach across all the time, whether it's on third shots or on dinks. It's pretty common that they'll reach across and open up, extend away from their body. Makes it very difficult to hit that shot. And it also opens up a lot of court if you end up doing that repeatedly. So the second pillar is something that's necessary if you really want to improve. If you really want to get to be the best that you can be, you really need to work on the second pillar, not just work on drilling your shots, which is important to do. It's also important to know what to do, when to do it, and things like that, right? And where to be on the court. So the question, I guess, is how do you work on the second pillar? I mean, there's several things you can do. One of the reasons CJ and I started VI Pickleball and built this VI Pickleball community and VI Pickleball library is to provide the resources to help with this second pillar. We help with the first pillar, but where this kind of education really, really shines is the second pillar. It's really helping you see the game, understand the game better, understand game flow and things like that. So you basically have to study the game in order to improve on the second pillar, in order to know that you're hitting the ball into the right spot. You can also do it. There's other content creators have good courses out there. Our friends at Primetime Pickleball have a course. Our friend Barrett Kitchelow over at Pickleball Kitchen has a course. So, there's different folks that have courses. You can check those out, see if those work for you. But the bottom line is you got to have not just the shot, you got to know when to use it and what you want to do when you're out on the pickleball court. If you want to understand more about the second pillar and what I mean by the second pillar, I'm going to link to a video below that you can check out that'll show you what we're talking about when we're talking about the second pillar. And I'll show you some errors that players make that aren't shot specific. In other words, they're not specific to the stroke mechanic error, but they're errors in deciding what to do with the ball and where to hit it. In the riff today, I'm going to talk a little bit about the ready position and kind of giving you a more holistic view of the ready position. So if you're up for that, stay tuned for the riff. You've studied the pickleball videos, maybe read a pickleball book, taken a lesson or two, but there's just something missing, something to complete the whole picture. That's where VI Pickleball comes in. VI Pickleball is the most immersive pickleball learning community available today. You can check out more information at wearepickleball.com. See you in the community. All right, so the ready position, everybody knows the ready position. Whenever I see a player miss a shot, there's a pop-up, there's a slam, and you say, okay, what do you think happened there? Answer invariably is, didn't have my paddle ready. Sometimes that's true. Should have had the paddle ready. Oftentimes not the reason that rally was lost, but still, ready position is one of those things that plays an oversized role in our minds in the game. Although it is important, it's still something you got to do, but it plays this outsized role. But let's talk a little about ready position, what we mean by that. So there's different concepts in terms of where you hold your paddle for the ready position. There's the old school Coach Mo, basically like right in front of you, hold it flat, backhand out, just basically ready to block anything that hits at your chest. You can move the paddle around too, but basically that's the position. You have the Sarah Ansbury used to advocate the basically 12 o'clock, so it's perpendicular to your body, and basically holding it out in front of you, and you track the ball with it, so it's basically ready to turn, to forehand or backhand evenly. Then you have the kind of the either depending on whether you're right handed or left handed, but it's basically like a little bit towards the backhand side. So you start at 12 o'clock, so perpendicular, and then you turn it a little bit towards your backhand. That's another type of ready position. That's the more I think the more widely accepted today. Ready position, and that's definitely something that's important. Have the paddle at least out away from your body. Deb Harrison, Pickleballing Deb, talks about the elbow being away from the body. That's important. So you want to have that paddle out and ready in front of your body, ready to react. But what about your body? What about moving your body? A lot of times we forget that the paddle's great. So if the ball gets hit within where we can hit it without moving our legs, then having the paddle out front's going to help us. But what if the ball gets hit to our left or to our right, where we have to react and move, whether it's an aggressive dink or a ball that we're going to volley? So the question is, how do you get ready then? And so what I wanted to remind us is that to get ready then, you want to make sure that you're in basically a not a crouch, but you're in a like poised to move, right? So you want to be up on the balls of your feet. So you want to basically have the weight up on the balls of your feet, not in your heels, because if the weight's in your heels, then you're going to have to shift it to the balls of your feet before you can move. So you want to make sure that you have the weight like tilted towards the balls of your feet. Usually if you bend your knees a little bit and kind of lean forward a tad, that'll push the weight into the balls of your feet. And then having your knees bent and you'll basically be, in a ready position, you'll be like the cobra, ready to strike, and you'll be ready to go. So ready position, remember, is not just the paddle, but also your body position. before the ball gets hit to you. If you get ready after the ball gets hit to you, you're not ready, right? It's too late. So make sure that you got that ready position, both body and paddle, to play the best pickleball that you can play. All right, that's our Pickleball Therapy podcast for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, make sure you share it with your friends and give it a rating. If you enjoyed it, your friends probably will too. Be well out there, and we'll see you next week.